So welcome to another episode of the Beer Defend podcast. As you know, the world has changed in the last couple of weeks. There's a lot going on around the world. Here in South Africa, things are getting close to being a lockdown. Anyway, I decided to, obviously it affects the podcast in some way, and I've decided to pivot a little bit and start doing more podcast conversations with people. And I'm touching base with my mates around the world, finding out what's going on, how the coronavirus has affected them. And they're also introducing me to some of their friends. So I'm meeting new people as usual, which is great for me because I'm really enjoying that. And I'm going to be bringing you some of their stories over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. Who knows how long this is going to be. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. And here's an episode for you. So I thought we'd have a quick chat and find out how things are there in Poland with regard to the current circumstances in the world. With
you mean like the coronavirus thing that's happening?
Yep.
Things are pretty calm. Yeah, where I am. I live about an hour from a big city, about an hour from Krakow.
Yeah.
Like a small, call it like a big town, like Wadowice. Everyone's sort of on lockdown, so the high street, which is normally very busy, lots of cars and lots of people traveling through Wadowice. There's definitely been a decline in the amount of traffic. And also, I think they've closed all the restaurants and coffee houses and things like that. Sort of, okay. They're normally quite popular, and they're sort of well attended usually. So obviously there's none of that going on anymore.
Yeah. What's the vibe? I mean, what are like the people that have those establishments? I mean, have you heard anything from them in terms of like, what the impact is to them? Because I mean, obviously it must be devastating.
Yeah. I mean, I just know one girl who's got like she's like a hairdresser, and she like works on her own. So I mean, the impact for them is quite devastating because I mean they don't have an income, but I guess they're still going to have rent to pay at the end of the month.
Sure.
Yeah. So I reckon people like that are quite impacted. I mean, I'm also impacted as well because as you know, I live in Poland, but I do care work in the UK.
Yeah.
So my usual thing that I do a month of care work in the UK, and then I fly back to Poland and I stay here for a month. But now Poland's closed their border, so I can't actually travel back to the UK to work. So it hasn't affected me yet because I'm sort of in the period of my 1 month in Poland.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of due to go back to the UK on like the 23rd of April.
Right.
So if they do extend the closed borders, then obviously I can't leave.
Yeah, sure.
And then there's the other thing is if I do leave to go to the UK and work for a month, who's going to know? I might not be able to come back. So
yeah.
So I'm sort of I'm not worried or anything. I'll just take it as it comes. But that's definitely affected like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, talking about the borders closing, there was a woman that I had on the podcast recently, a Polish woman that's riding around the world on a motorcycle, and she went back to Poland for some medical procedure, and things went down while she was there. In other words, they were closing the borders, so she decided, or they were getting ready to close the borders, so she decided to stick around in Poland until things blow over. But she posted a Instagram story the other day that when they closed the borders, the queue to the borders was 50 kilometers long, and people were waiting 30 hours to get through the border.
Wow, to get into Poland.
Yeah, and obviously they weren't allowing any non-Polish residents through. They were turning away all foreigners. But I mean, 50 kilometers and waiting 30 hours to get through the border. I mean, there's like, that's hectic. Yeah. I mean,
it's like wartime, sort of like.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I mean, like when last did someone see something like this
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think there's been sort of the region I live in is called, I think it's called Małopolski, which is a very large area. Sort of like, I don't know if it's like a province or something, like back home we have provinces. Um,
Yeah.
and I think there's 100 people in quarantine, and I think maybe like a dozen or so that have actually got the coronavirus.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, yeah. So it has sort of started happening, yeah. But I think maybe with an early lockdown like they've done now, it's sort of going to like limit the sort of spread of it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole idea. But I mean,
Yeah.
the question is how long does it last though? I mean, what's the
Well, like you can only sort of look at a place like China where now they've started going back to work and stuff. So
yeah,
give people an idea of sort of how long it'll last if it's controlled properly.
yeah,
Uh, that's the other thing. I know the UK government's being a bit criticized because they didn't act until very recently.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but
That's,
who knows what the right thing is to do until you've either done the right thing or until you find out why you should have done it, you know?
yeah, yeah, sure. And I think that's where South Africa is a little bit fortunate is because um, it only really hit us a couple of weeks ago,
Okay.
say 3 weeks ago, and I suppose in a way we were fortunate to see what was happening in the rest of the world and also how people have dealt with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
fortunately, for once in our lives, our government has acted decisively. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm not too sure if I mentioned to you, but last Sunday, old Cyril had his nation address and
Okay.
closed the
Back in the
schools.
nation.
Yeah, so he closed the schools. Schools closed officially on Wednesday, and then there were a whole lot of social distancing.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they're going to close some of the ports. No foreigners coming into the country, etc., etc., etc. And then he then said that for the various areas, they would then, after the address the next day, they would start having discussions about what other measures to take. And like the restaurants have been told, up until now, they've been told that they can be open until 6 o'clock, and
Oh,
then they must close. But a lot of them have closed anyway. I suppose not only just also to protect their staff and all that kind of stuff. So a
yeah.
lot of the places are closed. I took a drive
That's
through.
the-
I took a drive through my area yesterday morning, and normally on a Saturday morning, there's this one street in London that is bustling. The
Okay.
restaurants are packed. There's a nice place called Whippet there. Lots of people, very popular. There's another place, Brian Lara, which I go to quite often. And also there's like, other shops and all that kind of stuff I went through. There was like almost like a ghost town, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there hasn't been like frenzied buying in the shops in the part of Poland that I'm living in.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I go to the shop, I normally go during the week, and the shops are very quiet. But
Okay.
the shelves are fully stocked.
Mm.
There
Yeah.
hasn't been panic buying that I've seen in other places on social media.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, my local supermarket that I go to, I've been there once or twice in the last couple of days. Um, Still, it's not packed, but it's not empty, which I was actually quite surprised by. And I was actually I was quite amazed that there were actually quite a few elderly people there because because as we know they're high risk. I was actually quite amazed that they were in the supermarkets. I would have thought that they would have been avoiding public places,
Yeah,
but yeah. So I don't know. There's almost like I've got a mixed sense of that people are taking it seriously. Some people seem to be taking it seriously, and others don't seem to be taking it seriously. You know.
yeah. I think it's one of the best things I've seen on the media about coronavirus was the Singapore government. I think it
Yeah.
was a recording of their parliament,
Right.
and they were talking about the coronavirus, but they gave very, very clear, very precise information about the coronavirus and how it spreads, what the what this sort of gestation period is. Yes, so there was a lot of clarity there about how it's transmitted. So I think with that sort of information, then people sort of act accordingly.
Yeah.
But if you're getting a lot of contradicting sort of information, then people don't act as precisely, as if they're got the right information from the right people at the right time.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, like you had Trump saying in America that the coronavirus was a democratic hoax.
Really?
Yeah, so there's all this disinformation going around, and so conspiracy theories, disinformation. Yeah, and that just sort of, it creates a lot of confusion, and what needs to be done doesn't get done because, the truth is not known. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I'm working from home indefinitely. Well, indefinitely until further notice. Fortunately, I'm in the kind of career where I can work from home, and I can basically do 95% of my, my job. So that's not an issue. But
That's cool.
I'm very aware of the other people that are around us, like the restaurants, musicians. A lot of the guys that I know that are musicians and all that kind of stuff. I mean, everything is just dried up overnight. They can't play in venues, etc. But I'm actually also quite amazed at how quickly people pivot. There are guys that provide online streaming services that have contacted these musicians and inviting them to come and do live streams, and then people can donate to which is pretty cool.
I think in times of adversity, then people become creative.
Yeah.
You've got to fill in the gap somehow. So we have this amazing thing, this amazing technology, which sort of connects us all. So it can be used in more creative ways in situations like this.
Yeah. And our local fiber provider, I saw an article yesterday that they are going to double everyone's speed. So if you're on 20 meg fiber line, they're going to up that to 40 or 50. If you're on a 50, they're going to make it 100. If you're 100, they're going to make it 200 with no extra cost. Just
that's cool.
It's
good for the economy.
Yeah, and it's obviously at no cost to anyone, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So
cool. Something I definitely do feel though in the atmosphere is like a slowing down of everything and everyone.
Yeah.
It seems like because I live quite near a busy road, so that's a big difference for us living in this sort of area with less traffic going through and stuff.
Yeah.
So things do feel a bit calmer, Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, for yourself, have you changed the way? Have you felt okay? I'm not going to go out as much, or
Well, I'm sort of a homebound body anyway, so it hasn't really affected me. What I did decide to do once I had like good information, like I got that information from watching that stream of the Singapore government. I sort of avoid the news and I avoid social media because it can just add to the neurosis of the situation.
Absolutely.
It can become like I was busy reading a book the other day and my computer was on and the news channel I normally watch was playing in the background, and then I heard this music playing and I thought, oh, they must be advertising like a movie or something, like the Walking Dead or something. But it wasn't. It was sort of like the headline for the latest news about coronavirus. But they're like framing it like it's a movie, that sort of music and so I think I don't always think staying abreast with what the news outlets are putting out is I'm not sure it's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, I generally try and avoid reading too much of the news. I like to grab the headlines and I choose my sources of information. And and obviously, you want to verify that information. If you hear something, you want to go and check it out.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm also very aware, but I mean that was before the whole coronavirus thing. I had made that decision. I don't even turn the radio on here in South Africa anymore. I used to listen to 702. Don't listen to 702 anymore, just because it's just one negative thing after the next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a British citizen living in Poland, so I had the whole Brexit.
Yes.
Brexit was like, I don't know, it was like a horrible sort of, the labor pains were something terrible, and I was
Yeah.
sort of following the narrative and following the story because it affects me because I'm a British citizen and I'm living in another EU country. Yeah, and it caused me a lot of turmoil. It caused a lot of friction in my relationship. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I just have to sort of find out what the new rules are, and I just got to find out what hoops I got to jump through.
Yeah, sure.
I
'Cause,
didn't need to be in the labor ward watching this whole bloody mess taking place.
Absolutely, because I mean, there's very little that you've got no control over it.
There's nothing you can
I mean,
do.
at the end of the day, wind yourself up, Yeah.
Yeah, so I sort of, I took a hard lesson from that about, the usefulness of the news outlets, and you got to practice some sort of mental hygiene in terms of what you listen to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. So I suppose the important things you need to know is how it's transmitted, what you need to do to prevent transmission, and if you do get it, and if you do get it, what do you need to do? Those are the only 3 things that you need to know about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw a nice meme came across my Facebook feed, and it said, "It feels like the Earth has sent us all to our rooms to go and think about what we've been up to."
That's a very good meme, eh?
That caught my attention. Yeah.
Well, what I found quite, I mean, I don't know if this is a negative or positive thing, but it occurred to me today that, over the last, say, couple of years, people have been warning against how much time we spend on our devices and how we connect with one another. We always like WhatsApping or, voice noting people and all that kind of stuff. We're not really having that face-to-face interaction. And now, there's people are consciously trying to move away from that. And all of a sudden a situation happens in the world. Well, that's now all of a sudden how we're communicating. Social distancing, WhatsApp calls, video calls, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's quite ironic.
Yeah, well, I also think I saw something on the news about the dolphins have returned to the canals in Venice.
All right.
And fish and things like that, just because the waters are clean.
Oh.
So there's been a colossal drop in pollution. I mean, so it's funny how human beings can adapt to a new situation. They keep saying to us, we need to have a smaller carbon footprint. We need to travel less. No one does it, and then we have something like this happen, and everyone just does it quite naturally.
Yeah.
And it's not such a it's these sort of things are doable.
Yeah, but I suppose
like I'm sort of working in the UK. I'm flying to the UK and back 6 times a year. I mean, Jesus, that's quite a carbon footprint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to get to work and back. Whereas I could find work locally and work locally.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, I mean, you were doing some meditation or mindfulness stuff in Poland. You said that's dried up now.
That's all been cancelled. Yeah, I had two courses. I had a course booked at my local yoga studio. I was going to be doing 4 weekends this year to teach an 8-week mindfulness-based living course. So obviously that's not happening anymore. Then I was going to teach another course with Mindfulness Polska, the Polish Mindfulness Association. We were going to do 4 weekends in Berlin, also an 8-week mindfulness-based living course well, an 8-part done in 4 weekends. Yeah, that's been cancelled as well. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But I mean, you also were planning a trip to India as well?
Oh no, that was cancelled. Yeah, I go to India once a year because I'm doing a Mahamudra course with Sita Rinpoche. So it's a 7-year course. So we go to India, once a year for 7 years. And so when we were in India, we do like a retreat with Sita Rinpoche, and he teaches us like a set of practices, kind of meditations that we've got to do for the following year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. Obviously, I mean, I booked my hotel, I got my plane ticket. I was luckily I didn't go through the pain of getting a visa yet. Yeah, but that's been cancelled. So
but
I
for
forfeited.
But because of the outbreak.
100% because of the corona outbreak. Yeah, because about 1,000 people attend this retreat in New Delhi, and about 70% of them come from China.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of Chinese students. So so I think it would have been a bad decision for it to go ahead. But now apparently the Indian government is also cancelling visas.
Oh wow.
They want people coming into the country.
Sure.
So, yeah. So that was a bit of a bummer for me, having that cancelled and losing my my airfare. Yeah, but that's just how it goes, eh?
Did you lose it in its entirety, or did you?
I got my taxes back.
Okay.
So that was, I think, like an 8th. It was like an 1/8 of what I spent. I got back.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The implications, financial implications, are going to.
They're massive. They're massive. They're massive for the airlines. They're massive for the tourist industry, hotels, catering. Yeah, there's a lot of people going to have a lot of economic hardship. My company, who I work for in the UK, a care company, they've actually set up a hardship fund.
Okay.
They put £250,000 in the hardship fund, and any employee can apply for. I think it's a loan. It'll be I don't know the details. I assume it will be a 0 interest loan.
Okay.
Against your earnings or whatever. Yeah, but people are worried. But people do seem to be realizing that this is impacting people. So they're sort of trying to make provision to help people.
Yeah. And so you're going to have lots of time on your hands, essentially. So you're going to be learning a lot of Python.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm sort of, I'm a meditator. I was in a monastery for 10 years, and I was in retreat for 8 of those 10 years. So that's all I did for 8 years. Practice meditation. So me having this time off, I don't have a problem filling it in either with meditation, or, as you know, I'm teaching myself to code in Python.
Yes.
So I'm sort of getting my teeth into that, which is very rewarding. So yeah, I'm quite happy at home.
That's good. But I must admit, I enjoy working in my own space. Just like for me, working from home now is actually almost like it's like a gift in a way for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just battle in the office environment to stay, focused and etc. And Friday was my first sort of day working from home, and the amount of work that I got done in one day is like mind-boggling. Just because I don't know, I just have a way to focus easier at home.
Yeah. Well, that's probably good information to collect and present to your supervisor, your boss, and just saying, look, this is my performance at work. This is my performance when I work from home. Let's make an intelligent decision.
Yeah. Well, I'll try that. Yeah, because I love working from home. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, it makes sense because you're only I don't know exactly what you do, but I've got a sort of an idea. You work from a terminal.
Yeah, so I do software support and development. So a lot of data management as well as system support and fixing bugs and enhancing the system. And I would say 75% of my work is remote anyway, even when I'm in the office, because my customers are in Canada, in Botswana, and then in South Africa, but out in the field in South Africa. And then we do have users in the office that we support. But even then, I'm sitting at my desk and having a Microsoft Teams call with them, or a Microsoft Teams chats, and I can share my screen, they can share their screen. We can work on a document together. I don't even have to get up from my desk.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway, dude, I wanted to just check in and find out how things are going on that side with everything that's going on.
And, it was really good having a chat with you.
Yeah. This is way better than doing the Facebook.
Hey?
Well, I think with the connectivity is it's better.
Yeah. It's probably because I'm doing data as well, not the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well, let's not use all your data just yet.
All right, cool, man.
Anyway, Alex, thanks for the chat, man. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, cool, man. I'll see you later, Andrew.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.